Wait, what is oh, I need radar Omega open. What's going on, guys? One second. Let me get this sorted out. Let me get this sorted out. Where did I put my chat? What the heck? Check. Where did I put my... What up, Ryan? Control panel. Where the heck did I put my chat? Chat. Oh, hold up. There it is. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Leanne, I never make it this early. What's going on, Gianna? I hope you are as well. Good to see you. Alright. Sorry, fixing some things. That'll have to do. The haircut looks good. Thanks, unfandom. Thank you. I thought about getting a haircut like this for a while, but I just never pulled the trigger. And then I was driving home and I was like, why not? All right, let me get this fixed. Let me get this all in here. Let's talk, guys. We might not be done in the East yet in January like I was talking about. Might not. So we're going to talk about that. Oh my god, I deleted TikTok so I can't get back on there. Amir, I know a lot of people did that. That should be resolved soon. They're working on getting it back into the app stores, I think. Or downloadable again. W haircut, Jai, thanks. I appreciate that. I need a Red Bull, but they're not cold enough yet. Yeah, guys, we're gonna go. We got down to -4 in Southwest Ohio last night, but I want more snow. Yeah. What's going on, guys? We're gonna get started in just a second. Okay. First, I want to go over everything that's going on throughout the country. Let me fix some of my settings on here. I literally just started the live. We've got some winter weather moving through Iowa, south and eastern Iowa. Well, really eastern Iowa. Some winter weather in west Michigan. Maybe this moves through Chicago. Central, south, and eastern Wisconsin. We will have very soon snow moving into the northern Rockies and Cascades. So let me just put this up so we can see what's going on. There we go. Not much to look at on the Radar Omega tonight, but that's going to change in a few days. Let's look at what we have. Some crazy stuff moving forward. We'll go over some of the latest models, and I'll give you my opinion on them. Probably what's going on. Yeah, I'll give you my opinion on them. God, I want this Red Bull, but it's not cold enough. S. Mulger, what's going on? Up live, Dewan. That's right. Okay, here we go. GFS. What does it want to happen? Some thunderstorms into the south. Still a chance you get a little bit of snow potentially into, I think, Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee with this. But temperatures might not be right. We'll have to see what happens with that. Clipper system moving through the northeast, likely to happen. We see it on all models. Clipper system moving through the northeast as we get into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday should be moving into. We'll see what happens here. We can compare this over to the Euro 18Z. The Euro likes this as well, but it doesn't like as well. Actually, the Euro actually has a pretty intense look at this as well. I haven't seen the 18Z. This could bring some decent snow to everyone, really. Mid-Atlantic, inland New England, coastal New England. Brittany, yo, what's going on? So, Hannah, what's up? What is up, Hannah? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. So this is gonna be an interesting look here, but some confidence on that with snow up in the Northeast. Who knows? A little bit in northern Indiana, a little bit into the Ohio Valley, maybe down to the DMV. This is gonna be next Tuesday. Well, I need an energy drink. So whatever. That's all. We're all confident in that. Also, guys, that's gonna be extremely cold air returning. I have a hat next to me I was going to put on in a second. You know, when you get a fresh haircut, you just don't want to put a hat on right away. I also cut off about that much hair on top of my head because I was just pushing it back before. And so I'd always wear my hat because it would like get in my eyes. But look, it's not getting in my eyes. Another blast of cold air. This could be some pretty significant, especially for New England and the northern mid-Atlantic. As we get into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, we could have negatives potentially along the coast. So we really need to watch that. I appreciate that, Brittany. My barber got me one time because as soon as I left his chair, I put on a hat. I know. My barber yells at me too if I do that. He's like, take it off. So another cold blast, and you can see this is here's what's interesting. Our pattern's going to shift. But look at the way the latest GFS wants to hold this jet stream, guys, as we move forward. Watch our jet stream. We get a little bit of zonal flow, but I mean, so what we're watching, guys, is this thing. What we're watching on this is this thing. Here's our jet stream. You're going to have cold air on the north side of it, warmer air on the south side of it, and it wants to keep in this. Let me zoom out. It wants to keep in this negative EPO, positive PNA type phase. So, you know, this is what the latest GFS wants to do is continue to bring cold to the east. Although you can see at the end, it wants to again bring that ridging back to the east and troughing back to the west. This would mean a warm up for the east, you know, as we enter, who knows, the 5th, 6th of February. And then I think for a couple weeks, we're going to be colder out here on the west coast. So compared to our latest Euro, we'll go to our Euro 12Z. And it sees a similar thing, some cold air sticking around out east. And then here comes our switch. And this is expected. We'll see. Here comes our switch. When we start to see our jet stream set up like this, all of our snow is going to want to go into this region. Midwest, central to northern plains, potentially some down here in the southwest as well. Remember, guys, your winter storms ride this jet stream, and the snow's going to be to the north of it, and the rain's going to be to the south in severe weather. So that's what we're watching. I posted in my video earlier. I posted a little bit of a crazy look the latest GFS is showing, which is this. So sorry, on the 18Z. Here you go. Who thinks this happens? Too far out to take seriously, but I'll show you for fun what the GFS thinks. You guys see that? Not impossible with the setup we're gonna have, but I mean, wouldn't that be crazy? Another snowstorm? Wouldn't that be crazy? Don't have much model consensus on it. We can look at our Canadian. Our Canadian, of course, wants a ton of snow up here, kind of like what our Climate Prediction Center is thinking. We can look at our icon. Our icon's thinking not much is going on in the south. Some more snow up in this region. So, and then we can look at our CFS. Not the best model, but it'll show you very far out what it thinks is going to happen. The CFS also thinks, kind of agrees with the GFS, that we could have something through here, kind of southerly, but nothing major. Anyways, I'm going to start taking some questions. I just wanted to show you guys this. One more thing I want to show you is our European ensemble moving forward over the next week or two. Let's look at our probability winner of receiving an inch or more. Again, the European ensemble does see potentially some snow back down into here. That's really Appalachian mountain snow, though. You see how far north that snow line is? That's a little more normal to see, not as far south as we've seen it. But if we go to our GFS ensemble, it's a little bit farther southerly, but we're probably going to be cut off from southern snow for a while. But you guys just had 2 big storms. But I don't think, I'm not ready to say there's no chance for another southern snowstorm before January ends. We don't have very long. We have about 9 days. But here's why, and actually here's the last thing I'll show you because this is important. Here's why. Let's go to North America and let's look at this. This is important. Upper air heights. Let's go to here we go. 1 second, guys. Here's why. This is our euro we're looking at. Extend it model. Extend it global. As we move through the end of January, we do have a little bit of consensus, and I talked about this in my video I posted today too, of some somewhat significant troughing. Again, look where this is. Take this with a huge grain of salt. It's very weak consensus. It's very weak consensus, but it's some consensus. Appreciate the follows, guys. Subs. Thank you, guys. Very weak consensus, but some. If we were to see some troughing like this wants to be around January 30th. We'll see. There's a small potential. 10-15% chance. Maybe we get another snowstorm that wants to ride from the south up the coast. You can see what happens after this. This is kind of what I'm expecting as we move into February. Colder air, more winter-like systems potentially through the Central Plains up towards the Midwest and just out in the West in general with the warm-up in the East. I think that's how our not exactly our start to February, but after we get in February a few days, I think that's how that's how we're going to trend. But this is an interesting look right here. This is a very, very, very interesting look. This would allow something to come back up the coast here. So, anyways, all right, let's get to chat and let me just kind of get our latest model on here. Interesting. Okay. And let me get my Red Bull because I'm freaking tired, guys. Here we go. Let's set that up. Let's set that up. And there we go. New haircut, looking fresher. Dad, I appreciate you. Raleigh, North Carolina prediction. I still think end of February we could see another southern snowstorm. End of February, early March. That's when I really think you could see southern snow. I think we might see some more snow out east though in January, but I think it's going to be a little bit to the north. I don't know if it's going to be southern. I don't think it's going to be southern. Coffee and Brittany, I appreciate you guys. Gee, thanks, Misty. I think that's good, right? Meme, I appreciate you. Misty, thank you. Christian, thank you. Guys, don't gas me up, please. Let's just talk about the weather. You guys are funny. Thank you, though. Okay. Maine. We would expect... I've kind of talked about it, and I want to kind of show you what our... Let's go to NOAA real quick. Let's go to NOAA. Okay, here's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And you can see here kind of what their thoughts are. Above average precipitation in this region for February. I think personally, I feel like I would shift this a little bit farther to the west. And I'd add average precipitation into here. Equal chances into here. But other than that, they know what they're doing most of the time. So remember, this is February. A lot of this is going to be snow. Especially the farther north you get, your temperatures are going to be cold. So you could expect probably above average snowfall would be like in this region right here. So that's based on the Climate Prediction Center. I think it's right. That's because as we push into February, our jet stream does want to set up more like this. Like I said, but some more ridging down here and some more troughing up here. This is going to be this is going to be where your storms ride, I think, as we get into February. So I would say inland Maine, coastal Maine, I think it's going to be hard for you to see snow through the first few weeks of February. But again, that's not set in stone. Outlooks are difficult. This isn't a forecast. It's an outlook. And then you can compare this to what do they expect for temperatures. So, like I said it in my last stream. Average to below average temperatures in this region and above average precipitation expected. I think this is going to be our target zone through here for snow, for some good snow to return in February. I know people up in Minnesota and Wisconsin are begging for it. Iowa as well. So Pacific Northwest, we'll have to see. Do we get some low elevation snow? Possibly. We're going to get some good snow over the weekend and into the beginning of next week, by the way, out there in the West. Potentially some into Arizona finally. This is kind of what's expected out here as we get into the weekend and into Monday. Look at this. A foot or two of snow into the mountains in Southern California. Big Bear maybe. Could see a decent snowfall. You don't want it. Anything big for the Philadelphia area this season? We'll see. We're only halfway through winter, so we're 2 days past the halfway mark in winter, so we got half of winter still left. Lindsay, I appreciate you. Thank you. Snow in Albuquerque? Yeah, Thomas, it's possible. It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible as we get into early in the beginning of next week to get snow in Albuquerque. Potentially good snow in Albuquerque. You guys, we have some pretty significant troughing headed down there. You can see it right here. Here we go. Here we go. And there is some consensus on this as well. So, oops, let me fix this over on TikTok. There we go. You've kind of got, this is what you would call a bowling ball trough, where it separates, starts to spin up. This can produce some of its own cold air. This can pull down cold air from upper layers of the atmosphere when you get this type of bowling ball trough. And you can see it wanted to sit down there and spin down there in the southwest. This is going to bring some significantly below average temperatures into the southwest as well. Check out our potential temperature anomalies down there in Southern California moving forward. You can see as it moves in. Not bad. Negative 10 or 10 degrees to 15 degrees below average down here as we get into the end of the weekend, into the beginning of next week. It's a good cool down. Again, you can see the east wanting to warm up. We'll see if it holds. It's going to be a very, very weird pattern. I can tell you this: our Arctic oscillation is going to stay positive for a while, meaning we're not going to have any mega cool downs like we're experiencing right now for a while. But as that cold air builds back up in the Arctic, but that will set us up for something major in late February, early March. Potentially more southern snow. We'll have to see. How's that late January east snowstorm looking? Different models see it differently. You can see on the GFS. Here's what we were watching. A lot of this moisture pluming up, interacting with this cold air. The GFS has pulled back slightly from that. But then it wants, as soon as we get into the first day of February, it wants to pull. It wants to bring in another southern snowstorm. This is the 18Z of the GFS. I don't really believe it too much. Here's our Euro. Our Euro sees the same thing happening down here, but it's pulling away from the snow. You can see we have some moisture down here in the south. This would be around late this weekend into Sunday. We have some cold air here as well. There's the possibility that we see models begin to change and begin to want some snow maybe through this region here. But, it's not looking great. We still have, the moisture and the cold air, but the cold air is not diving down as far as we're going to need it to. Our significant troughing is happening a little bit farther out to the east. We would have wanted that to dig in a little bit farther to the west, which it looked like we had the potential for. But you can see, this right here, this is what we're looking at. This trough right here, as this pushes in, We need a little bit of moisture to be lifting here to get snow again, or to get a significant snowstorm. We're gonna have snow up there in the northeast. We're gonna have snow up there in the northeast, but we need this troughing to be a little bit more significant. Here's a good way. Here's a good way to look at it. Here it comes. See this right here? So this is a powerful trough. This is a lot of Arctic, very, very cold air. But we would want this entering a little bit farther out to the west like this to be able to pull some of that moisture up here and really get a tilting system for a big snowstorm. So we'll see. We'll see how this enters, but it looks like it may be entering just too far to the east. But we still have some possibilities there since we're out of forecasting range. So we'll see. No more snow for Houston. There's potential for more snow in Houston this winter, but, you know, it's tough. It's always tough to get snow in Houston. You shouldn't be expecting it, you know? Raymond and Landon, I appreciate it. Do you think there's going to be an ice storm in Oklahoma like they were thinking? Who was thinking that? You know, if we're not seeing it this far out, this could be one. There's potential here. We're getting a lot of clashing of air boundaries through this region over the next week or two. You could get something through Oklahoma, but you know, I don't think we don't have that on the GFS. I don't believe we have that on the Euro as well. It's close though. You have a lot of cold warm air interaction. The end of this Euro really wants to give us potential for something through here as well. Maybe some ice or some sort of winter storm. So we'll watch it. So Eastern can see another storm. Yeah, 100%. Can the South see another storm mid or late February? Well, I'm thinking late February is probably going to be another chance for the South. Another chance. Based on our outlook. Eek, that was tonight you circled. I'm talking about this. This isn't tonight. Unless you were talking about from before. I was probably on the wrong part of the loop. Tennessee. Listen. This is the time frame going into late this week, into early next weekend. We had some potential for snow through this region. Now, two things happen. Your troughing kind of de-amplified, so your cold air isn't as significant pushing down, and your moisture isn't as significant in the area as well. So models are beginning to pull away from this thought. This happens sometimes. Just because there's a chance doesn't mean it's going to happen. So you can see our GFS does really good with moisture off the Gulf as well. It really knows if it's going to be there or not. The GFS does like some significant or more moisture in this area than the European does. So if we did get that cold air troughing from the Euro and this moisture, we still could get some snow showers, like I said, through Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, potentially northern North Carolina in the mid-Atlantic. Still potential. We're talking about a little bit over 100 hours out. But our odds are just going down. But you can see this cold air. This is your 500 millibar or 540 isobar line. We're going to have some freezing air here, and we've got some moisture here. This is what creates our snowstorms. So we have the right ingredients there, but they're just not. Neither of them are very intense. We don't have anything. We don't have a ton of vorticity in that region. Let me show you the vorticity map around that time. No, not velocity, vorticity. So here's around that time frame. Notice. I mean, you're not getting a strong low developing here. You see this? This is a strong low out here. That's a strong low. You're getting somewhat of a low pressure. You can see this vorticity. So this is where you're getting some lift. Okay, where you're seeing this orange and red. It's not too significant. We would want this to be a little bit better of a look. Again, like this. And this is the clipper that wants to move through the Northeast. This is why we're watching the middle of next week. There's a pretty significant low pressure. This is going to be snow through this region. How much, we'll have to see. But, this was looking a little bit better a few days ago. Models are pulling away from it. We just don't have This troughing is not entering the right region. We needed this to enter over here to help to tilt this and really help to amplify that lift through this region. So we're not seeing it right now, but we still have some time for things to change a little bit. So I'm keeping my eye on it because what happened, remember, this snowstorm we just had up in the Northeast right before you guys had your snow in the South, a few days where we got a decent amount of snow up here in the Northeast. They didn't see this until literally like 96 hours before. Models weren't picking up on it. They didn't see that system tilting at all. So we got to still watch it. Charles, I appreciate it. Thanks, Eric's. Quite a few of the local meteorologists were thinking classic Oklahoma ice storm this weekend. Really? So here's the thing. With this type of look, it'd be possible. You've got a winter storm. This is a significant low pressure forming right here. You've got warm air, dry air. These are clashing air boundaries. Cold air. You could get a system forming here. You could get enough lift to the south here to put ice. If you're going to get ice, you need a lot of warm air being pushed into the mid-levels, which would happen here with cold air pushing down into the surface. So warm air above, cold air below. I could see why they're thinking potentially an ice storm into right there, an ice storm into Oklahoma. You can see some of the models actually showing some ice up here to the north in Kansas. Let me look at what our NAM thinks. If our NAM's looking out here, I'm with the low pressure we have out here and some of this moisture we have moving up here. I'm surprised we're not seeing a better setup through this region. But again, I think this might change, and if it does, we'll have some snow move through here. So again, that's why we're watching it. It's an interesting setup. You guys can see just by looking at our isobars, we have some warmer air right here to the south. We have some colder air right here to the north. You can see our lows. Okay, this would be lift out ahead of your troughing, and this is moving down to the southeast. So again, this is something that I think has the potential to drag this snow out to the east like this, which would give you some potential ice through here. It's not showing up on the models right now. They're not seeing it for some reason, but they might adjust and they might see it. Just based on the look, it's not out of the question. Look at that. Look as we get into the January 30th to February 5th. Look at this warm up that the CPC wants out east and into the southeast. And you can see what it wants to do with our precipitation. Actually, it wants to keep some good precipitation out here, but this is gonna be your bullseye right there. 1 second, guys. One second. Got spammers. Had to fix it over on YouTube. How about Cleveland? Yeah, I mean Cleveland again. I'll keep showing it to you. I agree with the Climate Prediction Center on this. Above average precipitation, possibly through the Great Lake Midwest region in February. That would include Cleveland. So we have nothing. I mean, there is something that we're watching. We're expecting this clipper right here to drop some decent snow into Cleveland as we move into the beginning to the middle of next week. You could see 4 or 5 inches move through Cleveland because of this system, and potentially a lot of areas in the Northeast there. You see you got 1-2 clippers moving in one after another. And again, this is again something that's very interesting out here. A lot of Gulf moisture. Sorry, we have someone who's just going to keep spamming over on YouTube, so yeah, they probably have like 7 or 8 more account Erics. Every time someone does that spamming the same message over and over again, they just keep switching different accounts. That's why all their accounts are just random letters. Again, this setup, all this moisture moving to the north, some more troughing moving to the south. I'm still watching here for snow. This would be the end of January. For a snow system, this would be the end of January. Yali Moondust. Tiff, I appreciate you guys. What's going on, Yali? Another winter storm in Dallas. Upcoming time. We're not seeing anything in Dallas right now. Not seeing anything in Dallas. I mean, hey, who knows what would happen with this? I mean, this isn't seriously cold air though. We have some cold air and some moisture down here at the end of January, but we would need to see this troughing significantly shift far out to the west if we wanted snow into Dallas. Yeah. I'll let you get the next one. He's probably going to come back. We got so much snow yesterday. I covered everything. Wow. Weather's cool. Just weather is cool. Yeah, right. Shift to Texar. It's such an interesting name, Texarkana. Connors. One second, guys. I know everyone in Tennessee wants more snow. There's gonna be a chance for it before January ends, but wow, look at this cold air. Look at this cold air right behind here moving in. You guys are gonna have snow on the ground almost till Sunday to some of those areas in the south that got a lot of snow. Cold air isn't moving away. Yeah, I know where it is. Yeah, it makes sense. I just hope winter is far from over across the whole country. It is, Danny. It is. Remember, I was talking about this earlier in the year. I was talking about it in December, guys. Everyone was talking about, oh, it's been 9 months of above average global temperatures every single month. We're breaking records for global heat every single month. We're going to have no winter. And then going into winter, everyone was posting this stuff saying, there's a stratospheric heating event happening over Canada, or winter's canceled. Oh, my God. The globe was warmer for like 9 months straight. It broke records. Yes, barely. Okay, we're talking about like a 0.1 degree. Also, remember, and you guys know I always talk about this. A warmer globe means more moisture in the air, means more opportunity for winter storms. And it's not warm enough to shift the snow line. Clearly, we just had a foot of snow in Louisiana. 9 inches in Pensacola. So our winter's far from over. We have a lot of moisture still available. The Gulf and Atlantic in a lot of areas are still warmer than they normally are. We have a lot of pieces of energy that can feed these troughs as they shift down into the south. We have a negative AO. We have a Arctic with our polar vortex is strengthening again. And as it does, it's going to build back up cold air. A lot of cold air to push back into these warm waters down here. And I think that's going to happen again late February into March, which is why I think we could have another February into March. We'll see. We'll see. That's an outlook, but I think we could see some activity picking up here again. We'll see. My persimmon seeds had a spoon in them, and I live in Oklahoma. Dolores, I don't know what that means. Boss, we tired in Atlanta? Yeah. Any more snow in Raleigh? Not in your immediate future. Any more snow for Texas at all this year? You guys think I have all the answers? Northern Texas, I think definitely. Southern, Central Texas, if it's not in forecastable range, it's just an outlook, so it's hard to tell. User, I don't think there's any chance to next. That snowstorm we're talking about, potential eastern storm at the end of January, hits Florida. These models can see troughing pretty well that far out, and we have nothing showing that significant of troughing to bring that snow as far south as Florida again. The Ohio Valley needs more snow. Well, you see that? You're predicted to have above average precipitation in February. I would like a nor'easter, honestly, me. Yoga, what's going on? Do you think there's a potential for another shot of cold air in the next few weeks? Yeah, we're going to get one, but exactly where it's going to move in, the pathing is going to be interesting. Appreciate you, Yali. Why do models even go out more than 4 days? Because these models are great at reading troughing and ridging patterns out more than 4 days. Remember, we were looking at our last southern snowstorm down here 10 days in advance, guys. The GFS picked up on the snowstorm we just had in the south 10 days in advance. So they can pick up on it. But, you know, 10 days in advance, it looked more like this, and then it looked more like this. We knew the region we expected it to be in. We knew we expected something through here. We just didn't know if it was going to ride north or ride south, and it rode south. Also, when we're talking about on a macro level with temperatures, you know, models can almost see how these temperatures want to change 2 weeks out as well. So it's just locally, it's really hard to forecast local precipitation because it's down to such a micro level unless you're really close. You are the weatherman. You must have all the answers. I know. No, you're right. What was I even saying? I have to. It's showing 3 to 6 inches in my weather app for Long Island on February 1st. Do not believe anything in your weather app on February 1st. You know what? Kyle, did you guys see my post today? Wait. Who was in my live last night when I showed on my weather app that it said Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. Oh, there's my son. It said Jacksonville, Florida. 3 hours. I was showing it live. It said Jacksonville, Florida in 3 hours is gonna get 5 to 6 inches of snow. You know how much snow Jacksonville, Florida got? 0. So if you're telling me, Kyle, that you believe that what the weather app tells you snow-wise is going to happen 9 days from now, but the weather app couldn't get it right 3 hours from now, in Jacksonville's case, be my guest. Believe it 9 days out. Now it's showing that. Now, Kyle, I know why it's showing that, and I think there's something to it. There's always a reason. Look at the GFS. Look at the GFS. The first into the second. It's probably reading the American model and wanting to give you a chance. This would be a lot of snow in Long Island, but I wouldn't. Yeah, we need a little bit more time. Don't believe any precipitation more than 3 to 4 days out on your weather app. More, you know. If it says 4 days out, there's something to it. I use my radar. Not that stupid crap on the weather app. Yeah. Snow in Atlanta. Didn't you guys just get a tiny bit more? All these southern cities are getting greedy now. I was just asking. I was curious if there was any low pressure. I don't believe that. Kyle, I know. I'm just messing with you. There is something to it. The Euro and GFS see there's something to it. There's a reason it's showing that. I've been talking about the potential for snowstorm to end off January again, so there's something to it. It's just too far out. In 2 to 3 days, my lives will get a lot more interesting because we're going to be closer to that time frame. Maine needs to get more snow. Geez, inland Maine's probably going to keep seeing some snow in early to mid-February, but coastal Maine we may have to wait until later in February. Will February bring more ice storms in Kentucky? I think February will. We're gonna have this spring tornado season, severe weather season is expected to be. I don't want to say expect it, but project it to be record breaking, or let's say to be maybe not record breaking, significant, and have the potential to break some records just based on our outlook, the setup we're having. We're going to be close to an end zone neutral as we move into spring, and we've had some of our worst tornado and severe weather outbreaks moving into spring ever in end zone neutral cycles, ENSO cycles. So what that can also mean is a lot of cold and warm air clashing as we get into late February and early March, and that can mean some monster snowstorms and some monster ice storms as well. So, what is a pink and purple? Purple is mixing. Sleet. Pink is ice. Pink's the bad stuff. Misty, I appreciate you. People always spam. Yeah, 10K subs on a video. But yeah, the Canadian model is calling for 80-degree sunny weather in the Midwest and snow in LA. The Canadian model? Oh, the latest icon's updating. Look at the Canadian doing some weird stuff. They let's see what the Canadians. This is our latest Canadian. This isn't that updated, but 1 second. North Georgia, we don't see anything right now. Latest icons loading. I want to see what we're looking like here. Okay, we'll let that load in. Yeah, North Georgia, we're not expecting anything for a while. We'll see what happens a little bit later on. Connor, since you predicted all, what does your fortune cookie say for Tennessee? My fortune cookie says for Tennessee, I just think somewhere along the 3rd or 4th week of February, we're going to see more snow down here. Potentially some good snow into Tennessee. That's what I think. I think you guys might get some mixing or some ice pushed into Tennessee before January's over. I don't think you're going to get a big snowstorm in there, though. GFS model February 1st, North Carolina. I know. I shouldn't even be playing this model because it's doing this craziness right here. We need model consensus. This isn't impossible, but I will tell you this. This would be like the biggest ice storm ever. This most of the major troughing and below freezing air is up here. This doesn't really make sense with what our isobars are doing down here. So that's why this look to me just seems messy. This is a messy. This model to me doesn't seem to be. I think the next run or two, the GFS is gonna pull away from that look. I do. Although, again, you guys know, and I've talked about this, the GFS does do well projecting moisture out this far coming off the Gulf. So I think it may be right about this low and this moisture moving to the north. But the Euro doesn't agree with that cold air meeting up with this at that time. And the Euro's good with cold air troughing. So one of the two is not going to happen. Likely. I appreciate the follows and the subs, guys. I see you. Thank you. Wait, why does spammer copy my message from the beginning of the stream? What the heck? Yo, YouTube may be more toxic than TikTok. Shout out to my mods. Eric, you're killing it. Yeah, we've got, guys, for you over on TikTok, there's literally, I always thought I'd have less of a problem with weirdos over on YouTube, but there's just as many weirdos and spammers over on YouTube. My research is showing shifting of the poles. There's been talk of the poles shifting for like the last 2 decades. So, no one really knows. Anything coming into New Jersey? Again, I think well, the end of January, we're going to have a Clipper system moving in, I think, early next week. Yeah, Eric's, yeah, when people like mass copy messages on YouTube, yeah, he keeps spamming. They usually have like literally 10 to 20 accounts and they just keep going on. Like, these people have no lives. All they do is they spend all day just copy and pasting, spamming on everyone's YouTubes. And YouTube is obviously not intelligent enough of a company to be able to ban an IP. So that's the problem we have. He's really just sitting there making new accounts. Yeah. There should be a way for these social media companies or these like companies like YouTube to straight up just see that and then ban the IP. What's for the beginning of February for the Gulf Coast? You guys are really expected to have a warm up pushing into February. So I'd expect potentially some thunderstorms, not snow though. It's been super dry in Maine. Any snow predictions? Again, inland Maine, I think as we move it, into February is going to see an increase in snow. I think the CPC is right on this. Coastal Maine, I think we're going to have to wait at least halfway through February to see return to potential big snowstorms out on the coast. Interesting how it can be so cold for so long. They go to so warm. Yep, that does shout it. That's typically what happens though, because when you have cold air building up in one part of, on one area of the northern hemisphere for too long, eventually that's going to move off, and the rest of the areas that aren't getting the cold air, there's heat building up there, and eventually that's going to transition into where that cold air was. What does switching of the poles mean? The magnetic field's gonna basically flip. The Earth's magnetic field wants to basically change, flip. It's weird. It's complicated. I don't want to speak too much on it because I have to look into a little bit of more what's going on and what the latest projections are. It's a weird subject that I'm not 100% versed on, so I don't want to sound stupid. Earth has a magnetic field, obviously, and at the poles it's the weakest. That's where you have a hole in your stratosphere. And there's the thought of the poles, basically the magnetic field switching, and that can really mess with your weather around the globe. Yeah. Oh my God, this person's ridiculous on there. I appreciate you, Eric's. GFS is showing another winter storm close to the spot. As well. Yeah, no, Nico, it's too far out. It's not in a believable. It's not in forecasting range, so it's not likely to play out like that. We have to wait a little bit longer. Are you explaining why this is happening? Yeah, the switch in the flip in the magnetic field, or the switch in the poles is complicated. I'm not going to get into it because, it's a complicated topic. What I'll probably do is I'll probably actually put out a video on. That's because I always try to think of interesting new videos I can post on my page to talk about this stuff. So I'll probably post a video going over that, like a minute or two long video in the next couple of days talking about that. But does Las Vegas have another cold front coming? It does have a cold front pushing in. Las Vegas does have a cold front pushing in late into this weekend, beginning of next week. Basically like the West turning into a snow haven and the East turning into a desert, kind of for a little bit in February, Dewan. Central New Jersey outlook. We'll see. There's potential for one or two more kind of little snowstorms moving through the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic to end January. I don't think we're going to see this mega nor'easter that the GFS is showing. It's not completely impossible. There's just not enough model consensus on it. But I think February we're going to have a warm up, and I think mid to late February we're going to switch back and we're going to see some more snow in the East. That's my honest opinion right now with how it's looking. So that goes from Charlotte all the way up the coast. That goes from Atlanta all the way up the coast, down to Florida. Yeah, Gianna, for real. Winter storm next week. We're watching this. The icon's loading. We're gonna see what it does. How many events does the New York City area typically get per month in the winter? Is it like once per month, once per week? Neither. New York City down to Philly averages about 16 to 20 inches of snow a winter. Sometimes it comes in one snowstorm over the winter. Sometimes it comes in 7 or 8. It's never the same. The amount of snowstorms is never the same. But your average from Philly up to New York City is about 20 inches. And now we've been well below our averages over the last 3 years. Snow droughts are common though. Snow droughts come and go. We've seen longer snow droughts. In the 90s, we were seeing a lot more snow. There was a good period there in the 2010s where Philly to New York were getting some good snowstorms. So it'll switch. I would say over winter you're probably going to see 5 to 1 or 2 big snowstorms, and then you'll probably see 4 or 5 smaller, snow showers, smaller accumulations moving through. Did you hear in Houston we have a freeze fog warning 3 a.m. to 9 a.m.? You're going to have... Wait, is that tomorrow? It just means you're gonna have major fog raising off that ice because of the temperature difference of the air moving along the ice. It's gonna be thick, dense fog. With this freezing weather, let me see. Fav and Yali, I appreciate you guys. With this freezing weather, I need snow attached. I know. Freezing weather without snow is so annoying. When do you think Minnesota is gonna get its next snow? Well, I mean, let's go to our 18Z Euro. You can see, I mean, we're expecting a Clipper moving over Thursday, Friday. Next significant snow, early February, I would estimate. Again, we're expecting, I would say, as we approach the second week of February, our jet stream to shift into more of a positive PNA jet stream. Or negative PNA jet stream, meaning colder air out here. And you're going to have winter storms that want to ride up this. So, yeah, I mean, if I had to give you an exact time frame to watch, maybe February 4th to February 7th, but that might be pushed back. Our jet stream's going to switch for you guys up in it. I've been saying it since the beginning of January. We're not maybe the second week of January, that I think February is going to be a much better month for snow up here in the Northern Plains. What do you think of February 1st system for North Carolina? I don't think it's going to happen. Did the person finally give up on YouTube? Central New Jersey got a good 12 inches storm late February last year. Yeah. Guys, just so you know, like I said in my last stream, our biggest snowstorms ever in this region, almost all of them happen in February and March. When you start to see a lot more kind of plumes of moisture moving off the Gulf as it warms. So, meeting some cold air from the north. Oh, they're back. I appreciate that, Dan. In Atlanta, we need more snow. So no school. I know. I wish I could give it to you. They found a new victim. Yeah, what weirdos. Julie, what is going on? Julie, how much snow did you end up getting? Let me see if I can see when you answer. How much snow did you end up getting up there? South of Buffalo. Georgia has been getting so much. Jasmine, I appreciate you. Crazy weather the past year. Yeah. We're not seeing any Texas snow unless you're in northern Texas for a little bit. And we're going to need to wait, push a little bit into February. I conceived during the March 93 blizzard. I was born in 93. Oh no, everyone knows my age. But not in the beginning of the year. Any more snow? 92 here. Here we go. Good time to be born. Any more snow for Charlotte in the future? I think we're gonna get another southern snow. We'll see where it goes though. Is the ice storm icy February 2nd in the south? Misty, don't pay attention to that system February 2nd. It's too far out. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna play out differently. In a few days we'll see if we have model consensus, and if we do, then we'll start talking about it seriously. No, it's too far out. You don't want to believe the future radar that far out. Heather, I appreciate you. Julie, I missed your answer. Actually, we can go look. That was the best time. Yeah, I loved it. The 90s were great, especially as a kid. Oh my God, this person is just being ridiculous. The spamming on YouTube makes me not even want to stream on YouTube, but not going to happen. We're still going to do it. Oops, I didn't want to go into those. Sorry, guys. Let me see here. Where were we going to look at? Here we go. This is what I wanted to look at. Buffalo, 9 inches to the south of 13 inches to the south of Buffalo. No more snow in Louisiana. 13 inches to the south of Buffalo. We've got 7 inches, 9 inches. There's just no reports. We need more reports here in Buffalo. But what it looks like to me is 7 to 14 inches in that region. I got to pull this over for you guys to see. 7 to 14 inches to the south of Buffalo. Not much snow, maybe 10 inches. That's so funny, Julie. The people in Buffalo are the only people who say, not much snow. We only got like 10 inches of snow. That's so funny. Yeah, not much snow. Just like 10 inches, guys. When I was living in Jersey, we got 27 inches in one storm. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, I think. The snow is even frozen. Yeah. Yeah, typical northerner. What do you call people who live in Buffalo? Buffaloian? Buffaloian? I don't know. Buffaloer? It was minus 5 degrees here today. That is crazy. Texas is only 115 degrees. No big deal. Yeah. Not right now. Buffalonians? Ew, classic Buffalonian. I have friends in Canada, and the amount of snow is insane, yeah. Now they're saying Louisiana will get snow again on February 4th to the 6th. Oh, shush, Kayla. Let's see. Who's saying that? What model's showing that? The Canadian? Doesn't even see far. Well, maybe the CFS? No one's saying that. The alligators are frozen here. Yeah, down in Florida. I bet. I can't even imagine how many iguanas fell out of trees in Florida this winter. The news? Kayla, don't believe the news. If they're saying that. That's why I came here. Listen, that's in the outlook range, so nothing's impossible. I'd give you about a 0.1% chance, 0.1% chance of seeing snow again in Louisiana in that time frame. Those iguanas play too much, yeah. You've never seen those iguanas fall? Yeah, when I lived in South Florida, every winter you'd see them. Well, they weren't there in the beginning. Susie, GPT, I appreciate you guys. But I remember because someone had iguanas like at their house, and then they let them out, and the iguanas breeded all over South Florida when I was a kid. And then one year we saw these dead iguanas, and they were falling out of trees, and everyone was confused, and people were throwing them away. And then the government was like, "Don't throw them away; they're still alive. Their heart just stops, and they go into that's how they go into hibernation when their body gets too cold because they're cold-blooded. They're not supposed to be in South Florida." And everyone was like, "Oh my God, I threw away like 10 iguanas and threw them in the trash while they were still alive." So now in Florida, you're supposed to just leave them or call animal control when they start falling out of trees. But yeah, it does rain iguanas. It does rain iguanas in Florida in the winter, for anyone who doesn't know that. Especially if you live near a golf course. There's a lot of iguanas that breed on golf courses. I will be watching the Bills game this weekend. Go Bills. I put money on the Bills. Why? I like their colors, red, white, and blue. It's worth me losing money. We're not going to lose money. They're going to win. Do you think Maryland will get any more snow this season? Yes. 1,000%. The news doesn't even tell the forecast when it's happening in real time, right? How can you predict the southern storm can be true? Well, for one, our troughing can be predicted pretty far out. Our troughing and ridging patterns, meaning a more what's happening warm air and cold air wise on a macro level. And we have a ton of model consensus around a warm up in that time frame, 4th to the 7th. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, it's more likely to happen than not. It's down here in the South. And so all this model consensus showing a warm up down there in Louisiana, and someone saying that there's going to be snow. When we absolutely cannot predict precipitation even more than 4 days out, but we can predict temperatures, and our temperatures say otherwise, it's just not likely to happen. Weirder things have happened, It's not impossible. It's an outlook, but it's very, especially that time period, it's very unlikely. Mario, I appreciate you. Oklahoma spent about 90 consecutive hours below freezing. Yep. Crazy. You call them bison. Any hope for Oklahoma? Yeah, I do think we have some hope, actually. Maybe even in the first half of February, depending on how far that jet stream sets up to the south. Let me show you something here. Can we go a little bit farther out? You guys want to see a seasonal forecast from the Euro? This is always something interesting to look at. Okay, so here's what our temperatures, and these are our anomalies. And this is an average of the entire month, the first to the last. So just because you're in the red or you're in the blue doesn't mean you're going to be cold the whole month or warm the whole month. It's an average of the whole month. Here is what our Euro, which is a good model, seasonal prediction for February is. Notice a warm up out here. These are temperatures above average in February. But again, does this mean you're going to be hot the entire February? Absolutely not. This means if you averaged every day in February together, you're going to see the Euro thinks you're going to be a little bit warmer out here to the east. Now, we could end February, which is what I think might happen, the last 10 days of February, freezing with winter storms out here. But if it was really warm to start February, you're still going to have an average of above. You can see what it wants to do out here. Now, I can already tell you why it likes this. This is how it wants our jet stream set up. So, let's look at precipitation. Let's look at precipitation from our, okay. Here we go. Notice what it's doing in February. Again, notice this region, what the Euro wants to do in February. While you're expected to be about average to slightly below average temperatures, look at the Pacific Northwest. But also, look at parts of the mid-Atlantic to the northeast. The Euro thinks we're still going to get some moisture up here. Interesting. And then if we were to look at, here, let me do this. I mean, I don't really want to look at March. It's predicting a little bit too far out, but we could if you guys wanted to, just for fun. Monthly temperature anomaly. Oops. Well, I don't want Celsius. That's fine. Seasonal. One second. Let me switch this back. One second, guys. Actually, let me pull up my... One second. CMC extend it. Because I'm taking a look at this for the first time with you, although it really aligns with what the Climate Prediction Center sees. And I have a feeling that's what the Climate Prediction Center is using. It probably is. January, February, March. That's just zonal. God, look at our January. All right. Anyways. Again, it's agreeing with the Climate Prediction Center. Above average moisture into the Central Plains up into the Midwest. I think that's actually going to include the Northern Plains. That's where we differ a little bit. Slight warm up to the eastern, the coastal, especially eastern coastal U.S. overall in February. I think the end of February, we're going to see a little bit of our winter pick up back here again. My opinion this time around differs. It doesn't differ too much from the Climate Prediction Center, except for I think they think the end of February is going to be warm out east as well. I wonder if they are in TikTok too, unless they are now typing their own comments. I haven't seen the last couple, and I still see them. I think Eric's is just blocking him too quick. What are the other models that you don't use, like the CFS? They're just less. Those are like the CFS is an experimental model. So the CFS right here, The CFS guys can see out, air quotes, all the way to, I mean, the end of February, right? Like, look, it's an experimental model. We don't know what's going to happen this far out. The CFS literally wants to put like 3 nor'easters in a row. Look, 1, 2, ready? 3, 4. It's an experimental model. The CFS thinks as we push into the middle to the end of February. Well, CFS kind of agrees with what I think. It thinks our winter is going to get cold and stormy again out east. You know what? No, I like the CFS. The CFS is accurate, guys. CFS is accurate. If it agrees, I hadn't looked at it. If it agrees with what I'm saying, I think the CFS is accurate. Yep, we should always agree with the CFS. No, I'm kidding. But it tries to look farther out. It's an experimental model that they're working on that, you know, hopefully in the future we'll be able to look that far out, but right now we can't. It's 100% possible for more heavy snow in Philly. We are only halfway through winter. And all of our biggest snowstorms pretty much in history out east happened in February and March. So yes, we're only halfway done. Guys, summer does not start January 22nd. I promise you that. Doesn't start in February either. Doesn't start in March either. The icon? Yeah, there we go. What does our icon think? See, you see how it wants to give a chance. This is what I was talking about earlier. A chance for a little bit of snow into Tennessee. Still, as we approach the end of January, but these models are pulling off it a tiny bit. It does like those 2 clipper systems through the Northeast and the Midwest. Moving forward here to end off January. Do you think Northern Virginia could see any more snow? Yes, 100%. 100%. You might see more snow before we end January, actually, but I think it's going to be mid to late February where we really pick up again. Jornard, I appreciate you. Why is there so much blue going through Buffalo? I know. Blue, blue, more blue, more blue. I know. Wow, you're right. You're right. Let's look at how our Euro has that snow accumulating for you. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean the Euro likes another 10 inches over the next week into Buffalo. You guys are gonna have a good winter, huh? How was last winter in Buffalo? I can't remember if it was last winter or the winter before where you had a big one. Or above average. You guys always have a big one. Possible snow in El Paso? Possible with the system moving down at the beginning of next week. It's going to be tough to get snow down there. We do kind of see that bowling ball trough want to dig to the south. We'll see. It's not impossible. Not impossible next week, but I'd say likely no. Last winter, Buffalo had no snow. Was it the winter before then? You guys... Or was that when I was living down in Charlotte? Listen, time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, the year before we had so much snow? Okay. Charlotte snow, again, I'm not expecting a chance for snow in Charlotte for a few weeks again. It's not impossible. Not impossible. Obviously, the GFS sees something out here that is telling it snow. Look, that's telling it 3 inches in Charlotte, to end off January or start February. But there's not model consensus. It's not too believable of a pattern setup here. So I'm not really taking that too seriously yet. We'll see as we get it move through the next few days if models start to hop on that. The GFS did see the last 2 snowstorms first before any of the other models saw it. So that'll give you some hope, Charlotte. Snow in Indiana? Yeah, I mean, you guys are, again, this is our February outlook from the CPC, which I'm tending to agree with. Above average precipitation through Indiana. Very above average precipitation through Indiana for the month of February. And February is cold, You could definitely get some snow, some decent snow in Indiana in February. I don't think we're getting snow in the south due to the temperatures are getting higher. You know what's funny? Santiago, I want to show you something. I want to show you something. Someone said this to me in my video I posted back in December. Always interesting how because I said I think we were going to get 2 snowstorms in January. Or we had the potential, we had a much better chance for snow in the south, and I thought we would get a couple systems. Always interesting how possible precipitation in January is shocking. Been way too warm in the south, bro, so won't be snowing an inch or more until February as usual. Well, come on, focus. Been way too hot, bro. It's not going to snow in the south in January. He said that with a lot of confidence on my video a month ago. Listen, just because you get a warm-up doesn't mean your winter's over. Warm air moves through, warm air moves out. Cold air moves through, cold air moves out. Warm air moves through, warm air moves out. That's, you know what I mean? And if you're talking about the temperatures getting higher because we're entering the second half of winter, then explain to me the 93 winter storm. That is the biggest winter storm that the South has ever seen that happened in March. There's like 4 of the biggest snowstorms in American history. Like 4 of the top 10 biggest snowstorms in American history that happened late February into March in the South. And that happens because as we warm up in the Northern Hemisphere, February and March, that can build a high pressure back up into the Arctic, into our Arctic. So Antarctic is down south. Arctic is in the Northern Hemisphere. That allows for our polar jet to get unstable. I think there's more instability entering spring with our polar jet in the Northern Hemisphere than entering winter from fall. And that instability is what gives you very, very weird chances for major breaks and major Arctic air in February and March. It's not consistent. That's why it warms up in those months, but it is sporadic. Sporadically, very, very cold air can dive. April Fool's Day, 1997 winter storm. Yes, 1993, I got 22 inches in Greensboro, North Carolina. Yep. That was a major, major slowdown of the polar jet, which can happen in spring. And you could be 90 degrees for 2 weeks straight in North Carolina. And if that polar jet decides to rapidly slow, it'll change everything in a few days. Well, there's a little bit of lag in it, but... Marso, I appreciate you. NC, and what is that symbol? Yoda? The person with the snowman? G-Crew. Nicole, I appreciate you guys. What's going on, Joe? You the guy from TikTok? That's right, Ad. I am the guy from TikTok. New GFS is beginning to load. Let's go. Thanks for the update, Gianna. Let's go. New GFS is beginning to load. This is a good... So, okay. I almost want to take a poll on what do we think the odds are that the new GFS pulls away from that southern snow look. Let's see if it'll let me take a poll. Quick poll. Let me do this. Let me see if it'll allow me to do this. Question: will the GFS move away from southern snowstorm and from... Okay, now Yas? Heck nah. Let's see if this will let me do this. Okay, there we go. Can you guys see that poll over on TikTok? Sorry, YouTube. We're doing a poll really quick on TikTok. I have to get my YouTube set up to do that. Okay, and what this means, what I'm asking is the GFS right now at the end of January into the beginning of February sees a big southern snowstorm again, and then moving up the mid-Atlantic coast. But that's our 18Z. It's a bad model. I think our GFS pulls away from that look. Not completely, because it doesn't do that overall model, but I think it pulls away from that look in the 12Z. So I want to see what all the votes are. Now, we're going to have to wait another like 20 minutes for the GFS to finish loading. I just want to see what the results are here. We're getting a lot of yasses. Not a lot of heck nahs. Yeses are winning. It hit -14 last night in southern New Hampshire. Let's go. Bro, it just snowed in Texas. My news guy didn't think it would snow in our area. You predicted this in December. You're my news guy now. It was a projection. I could have been wrong. The outlook was very good. The atmospheric setup was very good for January, like I talked about. So that's funny. I'll take it. Do you think Georgia will get snow again? I think northern Georgia has a good chance. This central southern Georgia is going to be tough again this winter, but not impossible late February, in my opinion. There was a blizzard in Louisiana. Correct, Rocky. All right. Okay, I think we've got it. Okay, so 50 yes, 30 no. Okay, so we have about, okay, I can't do percentages very well, but we'll say closer to 60 to 70% of people think that this is the new GFS is gonna pull away from that southern snow look as our 00Z loads. I'm excited to see this. We're gonna wait and we're gonna see this. Big Poppy, Hampton, I appreciate you guys. I think you guys voted smart. I remember the blizzard of 93 in Georgia. Oh man. I was in my mother's belly. March of 93. So I was alive. Kinda. Let's see. It said it was going to snow in South Texas, and I stayed up just to get no snow. Who told you it was going to snow in South Texas? There was always a chance for flurries down into like San Antonio and stuff, but not too much accumulation. All right, we're going to wait for this. We're going to wait for our new GFS to load, but I'll keep answering questions in the meantime. This is going to be an exciting 00Z. Mountains of North Carolina, no snow. Beach, 6 inches. I know, right? Did you play any sports in high school? Yeah, I played ice hockey. I played ice hockey my whole life. So most of my family did, and my son is going to the league. My son is gonna play. Now he's only like 2 years old, but he's gonna play for the Minnesota Gophers. He's gonna be their starting center, and then he's gonna get drafted to the Florida Panthers because that's my favorite hockey team. And his first year, he's going to win Rookie of the Year, and they're going to win a Stanley Cup. I have my son's whole life planned out for him. It's actually just him living my dream. So he doesn't know it yet, but that's kind of what's going to happen. So he's going to have to deal with it. I've got it planned out. I don't feel old now. Thanks. Or I don't know if you were talking to me. I remember the year Southwest Oklahoma got a ridiculous amount of snow, and it was February. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of the biggest snowstorms in the South and in the East have happened February into March. You can get some significant breaks in your polar jet up there, pushing into spring. It said 80% snow and never snowed. Hey, Andrew, it said 100% in Jacksonville, Florida last night, like 2 hours before it happened. It said 100% chance of heavy snow for 6 hours and up to 5 to 6 inches of snow. They saw literally nothing. Unless you went really far up north. They saw Dustin. Yep. That's why I made that post on my TikTok. Go look at my TikTok, the post I made. I was live showing. I went like this during my live, and I showed that the weather app said Jacksonville, Florida, 5 to 6 inches of snow. And I said, there's absolutely no way this happened. The weather app's tripping. And it was wrong. But it was the easiest call I've ever had to make in my life. I don't know why anyone at Apple will let the weather app show that. There's got to be like some sort of meteorology team or some sort of weather enthusiasts that are taking care of the app, right? Or is it just software engineers that know nothing about the weather? I have to understand how the weather app makes some of the decisions it makes. Or it's just pulling from a stupid model like the NAM. NASCAR will be in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, February 1st to the 2nd. Should be interesting. Yeah, Gerald, if the AT&T GFS is right, that's going to get canceled or moved. I can promise you that. Is the Weather Channel accurate? Well, yeah. I mean, the Weather Channel has some of the best meteorologists in the world. So, I mean, I would probably trust the Weather Channel app. Apple weather is just a little bit sketchy. The app says the app just does some dumb things. Do you think Ohio could get a good 5+ snowstorm within 2 weeks? You know, these clippers are no joke that could be moving through because your temperatures are going to be so cold, especially this one right here that the Euro and the GFS see. You have a little bit of a warm period. This could drop 5 inches across central to northern Ohio next week. It could. We'll see what our 00Z says of our Euro and GFS tonight, because that's this big clipper moving up here next week through the Midwest and into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. This is almost in forecastable range here. So this is our next system we're watching. Not exciting for you in the South, but you know, it wants to drop some snow through parts of Michigan, potentially Chicago, down in Indiana, Ohio, potentially northeastern Kentucky, West Virginia. Maybe we get a little bit into Virginia and then some out towards the Mid-Atlantic coast, DMV, up there in inland New England. This is an interesting one. That's about to be in forecastable range. How many hours out is safe to say the ice storm is pretty much going to happen? If we see a major ice storm on our models 96 hours out, the ice storm's probably going to happen, but we still can't narrow it down to where. Ice is one of the hardest things to predict because when you're predicting snow, you're saying, do we think the atmosphere, like I always say, is going to be cold from the floor to the ceiling? If we do, is there any random warm air injection that's going to be happening here? And if it's easy to see if there's not. If it's rain, is all the air going to be above freezing? Okay, it's going to be rain. Ice, you have ice is hard. You have a bunch of warm air up in the atmosphere, but then you have cold air creeping in beneath the surface. You really have to have the reading on your lower, middle, and upper levels of the atmosphere to determine ice. So it's not just reading a big, oh, here's what the troposphere is on average. Oh, it's cold enough for snow. It's warm enough for rain. That you're looking at it and saying, okay, it's cold enough, warm enough for rain here, cold enough for snow here, but is there enough distance for that rain to turn into snow, or is there only enough distance for that rain to begin to turn into snow, but then it hits the surface, which is freezing, and now it's freezing rain? Predicting freezing rain is crazy. So like where freezing rain falls, like sometimes you don't even know like till 12 hours before it happens. Region-wise though, if you see like 96 hours out a bunch of red here, you're probably going to get freezing rain somewhere in there, but it's really hard to tell exactly where that warm air is going to eject itself into the mid layers of the atmosphere over what local city or county or part of the state. When do I think Minnesota will get snow? I think Minnesota will have a good February. That's what I think. How much time left? Too much. Luckily, the GFS loads way quicker than the Euro. So we're already 51 hours out, but we need to get we need to get about to 300. So it loads, the GFS loads like 2 times quicker than I would say. It's 10:50. We may even need to wait till like 11:10, 11:15 for this thing to really show us its adjustment. I can't remember. The GFS loads a lot faster than the Euro, I'll tell you that. Marso, I appreciate you. It's so interesting looking at what different runs will say. I know it's like it's so fun for me. You hear snow's coming to Atlanta Friday? Oh, you're talking about like next Friday? Maybe. I think this model's going to change. We're going to know. We're going to know. GFS did amazing with the last storm. It didn't do bad. It didn't do bad. And I've talked about this. I've addressed that too, haven't I? Guys, remember where I said the GFS does better? Down here. The GFS does good in the subtropics and in the tropics. That's why we use it for hurricane season, because that's where all the action is. Typically does do better down there because it is good at detecting subtropical moisture. So it actually almost did a little bit better at the totals. You guys aren't even going to need me anymore. I'm going to give you all the secrets, and then you can unfollow me and start your own channel. I'll be useless. I'm just kidding. Do you think Louisiana will get snow? Northeast. Not in your near future. Not in your near future. You could this winter season, but there's none in forecastable range. So, snow in Arizona. Hey, look. Megan, no. You guys are projected to get some snow into central and northern Arizona pushing into the end of this weekend. Not just by the GFS, by the Euro as well. There's model consensus on that. You think any more snowstorms coming up for the Charlotte area? Or are we done for the year? Again, since there's none really in forecastable range, I can't give you a solid yes or no. I think if you were to see another big snowstorm, or just you haven't got a big one. You've had a big snow to your west in Charlotte, and big snow to the east of Charlotte. But if you were to see a big snowstorm, I'd expect it to come mid to late February for Charlotte. If you were to see it. But it's tough. So much better without the spammers. I know. Shh, don't say it. They're going to return. Dallas, Texas. What's going up? What's going on? XV? LJ, L Will, XVZZ. I appreciate you guys. I felt like I was just rapping. I love hurricanes. My favorite season of the year. Same. Hurricanes are what got me into meteorology when I was like 6. I love tropical cyclones. I love hurricanes. I love them. I think they're the coolest thing on our planet. Same Z's, Gianna. Why does the Euro hurricane model tend to do better than the GFS model? It doesn't. The GFS does way better than the Euro, Gianna. I don't know if you meant to say it that way, but we don't even look at the Euro. People just don't even care about the Euro in hurricane season when it comes to tracking those cyclones. The Euro just does better in the mid to upper latitudes. The GFS does really good with tropical moisture, tropical, subtropical, tropical latitudes, or central latitudes. You're weird, Mass. I like your name. You're weird. I think we're gonna struggle in the beginning of February, if I'm being honest. Unless the Euro and GFS hold this look, because that'd be a big snowstorm for Mass. I think our jet stream's might screw the East Coast just for a little bit in February. My mom used to call me John Morales as a kid because I love watching the weather. Yeah, I fell asleep. I had the Weather Channel on I shared a room with my brother for my entire life, for 16 years, and I always had the Weather Channel on, and it pissed him off. I loved the local on the 8s. I was like, every 8 minutes, the local on the 8s is coming on. And it annoyed him. When he fell asleep, I'd turn it back on because I liked falling asleep with the Weather Channel music. I have the whole soundtrack in my head, although it's changed over the years. You think Knoxville, Tennessee will get snow again? If I had to say yes or no, I'd say yes, but it's not with great confidence. I'd say yes, but not with great confidence. Why are my comments being filtered? Well, I guess they're not being filtered. Vicky, I appreciate you. True Blue, Yali, thank you guys. Vicky, your comments aren't being filtered. There's just so many comments that the chat moves so quick. It's so hard. I can't see. The comments are flying, so I can't answer everyone since I'm only one person. I'm sorry to anyone. Obviously, I miss more questions. I miss more comments than I can answer. You think Knoxville, Tennessee? Oh, I asked that one. I answered that one. It's because I hadn't moved my chat yet. South Louisiana. Listen, if you get more snow in southern Louisiana this winter, guys, I saw someone say, and I don't care what political side you take. This isn't a political comment, but I thought it was a funny joke. I saw a video on TikTok of a guy who was on the beach in Pensacola with all the snow on the beach, and he said, "You see that? Trump's only been in office 2 days, and he's already solved global warming." The memes down there are hilarious. Obviously, snow has nothing to do. You can get snow in the South with or without global warming, but I thought it was a funny TikTok. I would be peeking out of the little window on our door, saying what was happening. Yeah, seeing what was happening during the hurricane. Yeah, that's how I was. My face was glued to the window, and it's not supposed to be in a hurricane. Grew up in Fort Lauderdale area, went through Katrina and Wilma. So did I. Yeah, My neighbor, Wilma was crazy. My neighbor used to work for NOAA. It's so sick. That's who I wanted to work for NOAA. I wanted to be a hurricane hunter. Being a field reporter is my dream. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, during hurricane season, yeah. Like Jim Cantori's. Jim Cantori's a legend. Georgia next weekend. Again, the GFS likes snow back into the southeast next weekend, guys. I am very hesitant to agree with it. Very hesitant to agree with it because we have no model consensus yet. But as we move through the next 72 hours, we're either going to start to get model consensus or we're going to get none at all. But yeah, I was talking about southern Louisiana. Yeah, if you guys got snow down there again, that'd be shocking. That'd be shocking, 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 shocking. You guys are going to warm up a little bit in February. If you did have a chance, it'd probably come late in February if we had another, big major Arctic blast down to the south, because we'll have a lot more moisture available down there again. Snow in PA. We're expected to have a lot of snow in PA, or like 2 or 3 clipper systems move through before the end of January, but they're clippers. They're snow systems. They're not major snow systems. We'll see if they make it into Philly, the Philly region. Selena, I appreciate you. I think we're going to slow down a little bit in PA, at least eastern PA, to start off February. Any snow for Detroit? Again, I agree with what Noah's projecting here. I do agree with it. I think we're going to have above average precipitation in this region, February. I'd say my confidence is somewhat high. Detroit, you're cold in February, so that's going to up your chances for snow in February, definitely. In our immediate future, you could get some decent snow with this clipper system right here. Pushing into the beginning of next week, there's model consensus on the Euro and GFS for that, and this is going to be very, very cold air. Very, very, very cold air. We were talking about this in the beginning of next week into Detroit. Very, very cold air. Any more snow in South Carolina anytime sooner or later? I don't think soon. Later, maybe this season. Is Louisiana going to get more snow? Probably not. Listen, reminder. Well, southern Louisiana had... Central Louisiana to southern Louisiana hadn't seen snow in... Or was it the whole state of Louisiana? I think it was... Southern Louisiana hadn't seen snow in 15 years. If you guys think you're going to get it twice in a year, you're only going to let yourself down. It's not impossible to get more snow into Louisiana this year. 100% not impossible, but let's be realistic here. It's going to be tough. I still think the end of February would be your chance if you're going to get it again. Yeah, that was the thing, Ron, that I saw on TikTok. Someone's standing on the beach with snow, and he goes, you see, 2 days into Trump's term, and he's already reversed global warming. It's funny. Or someone said, it said, and it had like Gulf of America sign in the background. Will it snow in Plant City, Florida? Again, I would not bet the over on more snow into Florida this winter, guys. Let's be realistic here. It's not impossible, but especially as we move into early to mid February, there's going to be a decent warm up down there in the southeast. Felt like 2 degrees this morning, and school didn't even get delayed. That's actually crazy, Liam. What the heck? Will Baton Rouge, Louisiana get any more snow? Likely not, Emily. Not impossible. Not impossible. Oh, likely not, though. I'm here. That's funny. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what our Let's see what our GFS is at. Our GFS is about 100 hours out now. It's actually going slower than I thought. 100 hours out. The time frame. Okay, here. What did our 18Z? Where did it occur in our 18Z time frame? So we need to wait for about 230 hours out. And right now in our new 00Z, we're at about 100 hours out. So it's about slightly below halfway there to the time frame where we're going to see what our latest GFS thinks if it still wants that big southern snowstorm. Will it snow in Orlando ever? Well, it has snowed in Orlando before. It snowed in Miami before. It's accumulated in Miami before. So it will. It'll snow in Orlando again someday. But I wouldn't expect it this winter. I appreciate the follows and the subs, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for anyone who's gifted. You guys being here engaging. Hopefully one day this will be my full... I do this full-time, but I have another full-time job. So hopefully one day this will just be what I can do full-time. Because I would love to post a lot more and even stream a lot more, but it's always... I always got to do it late after I work, gym, family, you know? But I appreciate the support, guys, because that's helpful. Southwest Virginia. We are so hard not always included in general mid-Atlantic or South forecasts. I know. Right? What is Southwest Virginia? I would put you guys more into like Ohio Valley is what I'd include Southwest Virginia in. Ohio Valley. Even though you're not really in a valley. That's the region. Your Ohio Valley region is considered like this whole region here. So that's where I would place you guys, right? Because your mid-Atlantic is here. Your Southeast is here. Your New England is here. This is your Midwest that kind of includes here. Northern Plains, South Central, Central Plains, and then, you know, just there's people out here too. I would say Ohio Valley for you guys. I know, that's tough. The last time it snowed in Miami was 1977. Don't count on it. Yeah. Heidi, you know when the last time that Lafayette, Louisiana got a foot of snow was? I think 1865. So they weren't counting on it either. Actually, that might have been never. It snows. Yeah. Oh, God, y'all. Here we go. Every time I talk about snow in Miami, all the jokes come out. What was that redder stuff around North Carolina? A major ice storm. And that's what we're seeing to happen if hey, look at our 0-0Z of the GFS, guys. Remember, we talked about this maybe starting to show again. Remember, in the beginning of the stream, we have the cold air, we have the moisture. The GFS is still giving a chance for some snow into this region. Hey, you want to talk about Southwestern Virginia? That's Southwestern Virginia that the latest model, latest 00Z GFS thinks could get a little bit of snowfall. We'll see. Waiting for this thing to finish loading. Any accumulation in Knoxville soon? It wouldn't be impossible at the end of January. I'd say maybe 10 to 20% chance. We're going to see how these the Euro tonight, the 00Z, the Euro, and the 00Z, the GFS setup. But it's going to warm up a little bit in February, like I said, in the Southeast. I'd consider Tennessee closer to the Southeast. There's a 10% chance of snow in Plant City, Florida, which is something I never thought I would see. When, Hannah? What are they thinking? 5 a.m. today? I would not count on it. We have cold. We have... Where exactly is Plant City? It's not impossible to get flurries down there based on the cold air we still have moving in. Oh, you're talking about down... Really? Don't count on it. We have this cooler air punching in. It is going to bring temperatures close to freezing down here. I would not count on any snow, though. That's a little... not impossible for some flurries. What does the red mean on the radar? The red... If you're talking about like this red, these are temperatures above freezing. The farther to the south you get, the more above freezing they get. If you're talking about the red, that you see on the GFS, that's ice. If you're talking about this, that is ice. That's bad. No good. No good. Isn't it too hot to snow again in Houston? It was too... people said it was too hot before. People said... Again, people were saying, oh, it's too hot to snow in the south. We had too hot a summer. If it's hot, it can become cold again. You know what I mean? It could snow in Houston again. I wouldn't expect it to this winter. But that snow you just got there has brought down the ground temperature. Obviously, the ground temperature. Not sure if you did South Carolina. Are you seeing snow again in the near future? Not in the near future. It's not impossible to get it again this winter, though. Definitely not impossible to get it again this winter. What was that red around? Okay. Yep. A lot of people asked about the red. Oh, Dalton. I remember when Ohio got the remnants from Hurricane Helene. The rain and wind was crazy, and the power outages. It's crazy how it still had strength that far up north. I know we had a tropical storm in Tennessee, basically. It was wild. And you had some of that wind moving off into the north, into Kentucky and Ohio. What about snow in Georgia again? Again, the GFS still wants snow into Georgia before the end of January, guys. It could happen. Anything could. Our polar vortex is expected to strengthen through February. If it holds that strength through the end of February and into March, we're not going to see any more snow in the south. If it weakens again at the end of February and our AO begins to drop negative, that's when you can get with the assistance of maybe a negative EPO or positive PNA, you can get below freezing temperatures moving back down to the Gulf, and you could get snow in the southeast again. It's another big southern snowstorm. That's what happened with the 93 blizzard. That's what's happened with some of our biggest blizzards ever in February and March that started in the south. It's all going to depend on what happens with our polar vortex. If it weakens again late in February and March, and if it does, that's when we would expect a major severe weather outbreak into spring. Is it going to snow again into Charleston, South Carolina? I wouldn't count on it. For people asking, is it going to snow again in Charleston, South Carolina? When was the last time you guys got good snow in Charleston, South Carolina? Before this. $2018, so 6 years ago. Okay, so it snowed for the first time out there. You got good snow for the first time in Charleston, South Carolina, for the first time in 6 years, and you guys want some more within a couple months or within a month. We got to be honest here. Chances are low, but they're not zero. They're not zero based on our outlook. They're not zero. People are greedy. But when I call people greedy, I'm not being mean. It's like funny. I'm like saying it's funny because it's like you get a little taste of it and you're like, please give me more. I can't blame you. I was like that in Charlotte. We had one snowstorm in 2021 move through in the beginning of January, and everyone was like, we want more snow. And then it snowed the next 2 weekends in a row, and it was awesome. It says we have a 35% chance in Knoxville on Monday. I would say it's more like a 20% chance. But yeah, there's a chance. That's what we're looking at on the new 00Z right here. Check this out. Look at this. See that? Snow in the eastern. It's kind of Appalachian snow, though. That's kind of high elevation snow because your temperatures aren't going to be that right if you're low elevation here in Tennessee. So, all right, we're at about 129. We need about 90. We need about 96 more hours loaded to the GFS. It's about halfway loaded to see what this new 00Z says. It's loading slower than I thought it would, if I'm being honest. What's going on, Confused Blonde? Yeah, I don't expect Baton Rouge to get any more snow. Is it going to snow in Dallas-Fort Worth in February? Based on our jet stream, it's not impossible. You should never bet on snow in Dallas, Texas. But our jet stream looks to set up like this for a little bit with some good troughing out west. We could have some storm tracks through here. We'll see if you get cold enough air in Dallas, but I think you'll have the moisture there in February. I do think you'll have the moisture available. Do we get the cold air in place for it? It's a question. What's the Euro saying? Well, we only have the Euro 18Z. So if you're talking about what's the Euro saying for like start of February, it doesn't want that crazy system that the GFS wants. You see where it wants to snow? It wants to snow up here. Not where the GFS wants it down here. This is the GFS. The GFS thinks the snow is going to be down here to start of February. The Euro thinks it's going to be up here. And I'm way more agreeing with the Euro on that. It just makes sense. That's where the cold air is. That's where the cold air is going to be. The below freezing air looks to be available. But it doesn't mean that the Euro's right. I think the Euro has a better chance of being right in this situation. And not just because the Euro's right more of the time. I actually just looking at the way they're playing, the isobars are playing out, and looking at the way looking at the troughing pattern, looking at our jet stream pattern, I don't know. I just don't buy it that. And guys, in December I talked about how good our odds looked for multiple snowstorms in the south. So I'm a big fan of wanting to get snow into the south, but I have to be honest. I don't think the GFS is going to be right with this one. But it could be. It could be. I can't be 100%. This is like, it's impossible to be 100% on this stuff. 1 second, guys. I really want to see what our 00Z, the GFS, is going to say, though. We want to see it. We want to see it. 1 second, guys. I'm 3,000 followers away from 100K. Thank you to anyone who's followed or subbed over on YouTube. I think I might have hit 2K on YouTube. I'm not sure. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. This is it still doesn't make any sense to me because I started taking this seriously about 3 months ago. It's crazy. I want my 100K cake. No. You guys are awesome, seriously. Wait, Tad, it says you just followed me. Wait, Tad, have you been subbed to me but not followed? Like you've been subbed to me on TikTok but not followed? That's actually funny. When is it going to snow in New York City? We could get some snow in New York City to end off January, in the beginning of next week. It's a little bit up in the air. We have to see. I was following you, but I don't know what happened. Okay. Maybe it was the reset. Was the GFS right about the last storm? Yes. What's different about this one? This one's forming a little bit farther to the north. The last one, the GFS had a low forming right here in the Gulf. The farther south you go, the better the GFS does. This one's forming a little bit farther to the north. But here's what happened with the last one. We also had the Euro at the same time showing some bombing cold air to the south. And the Euro is very good with this projection that far out. The Euro isn't showing that cold air this time. So we're seeing the rain from the GFS this time for the south, but we're not seeing the cold air from the Euro. And the Euro does really well with cold air troughing in this time frame. So the setup overall doesn't look as likely. MGS, I appreciate you. What was that right around North Carolina, beginning of February? Am I still... Ice. I might have just answered the same question again. I knew it was going to be cold in North Carolina this week, but it's been cold. I know. Another southern snow would be wild. I know. I think, and I kind of want it to happen because I said 2, possibly 3 this year. I do think we're going to get a little sneaky snowstorm there at the end of February in the south, guys. Don't quote me. But I do. Don't clip it. It's going to show ice. Yeah. I need to make some stickers for TikTok, by the way. Lake keeps getting on me about that. I just figured out what stickers were, so I need to make some stickers, especially for my subs. And I need a soundboard. Connor, what did I tell you about no snow in the south? You got cut off. No snow in the south, like it was due? Am I in Tennessee and where? I am not in Tennessee. Is it the mullet? Is it the mullet that made you think I'm in Tennessee? The mullet's new. I usually don't have a mullet. My birthday is February 27th, and I'm in Georgia. Well, you know what, Hunter? I hope we get some snow down there late February, like I think we might. Is New York City going to get any blizzard in the coming weeks? Bro, I really want some good snow. Blizzard, no. Snow, I think so. Will it snow again in Philly? 100%. It's going to snow again in Philly this winter. You look like one of those mountain boys. I'll take it. I do expect it to snow again in Philly. Yes, a couple times at least. So I still think Philly's due for a nice big snow this winter, bigger than we've gotten. Snow for Big Bear first week of February. Well, no, snow for Big Bear very soon. Potentially snow for Big Bear, we're talking late this weekend into early next week. Good snow into Big Bear. All right, we're getting so close. We're at 159 hours out. Look at this new GFS wanting to bring that snow over into Oklahoma. Ooh, you see it is getting closer to wanting to put ice into Oklahoma. New GFS, still like some clippers through New England. Some serious troughing still. All right, come on. We only need about 70 more hours loaded on here. Will there be a lot of snow in Chicago in February? The Climate Prediction Center thinks so. I think you guys will have elevated chances of good snow in February. 100%, yes. Appreciate you, Yali. Connor, what did I tell you about no snow in the south due to GFS moving more towards the north? Oh, later on, like for the next system? Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see here. True Blue, appreciate you. Is this heavy or light snow? What on the storm that we're watching? Do you think North Carolina will have more? Well, I think the mountains are definitely going to get more snow in North Carolina. Low elevations up in the air right now. 162 hours. Come on. We're getting so close. About 50 hours. New York City Hudson is freezing. Do you think after this coda will fully freeze and we'll be able to walk across? Well, yeah, you guys can see. I mean, look at our temperature anomalies for you guys in the Hudson Valley. We're very, very cold across the country. Staying cold. Look at this. Look at your temperature anomalies up in the east, in the northeast. Look at this. I mean, staying well below freezing. I mean, well below average. You're staying well below average until literally Sunday. Into Monday, but then it's like, oh, you get to average and then you get cold again. So, I mean, not a complete warm-up potentially for the East until we push into the beginning of next week. And then we want another huge trough to move in. So, I think I showed you guys this, but let me show you again. This is an interesting thing to look at here. Check this out. Since January 1, since the first of the month, let's go into departure from normal temperatures. Guys, do you see this? Anywhere in green, blue, or dark green, this is from January 1st to January 21st, the last 20 days. Everywhere here over the last has been colder than normal. Bet none of you saw that coming after how hot this summer was. Everyone thinks that there was this like consensus that, wow, we've had the hottest year on record around the globe. We're just going to keep getting hotter and hotter. And that's just not how our climate works. You can't take 1 year sample. Of course we're breaking heat records. We're coming out of an ice age. We're still in an ice age, guys. When there's ice on planet Earth, you're in an ice age. But we're in what's called an interglacial period. If humans did not exist, the Earth would be warming. The whole, like I've said, I don't want to go on a rant. The whole thing with global warming, climate change is, are we speeding up the warming? It's not. Is the planet warming? Scientists understand the planet would be warming even if humans did not exist and we weren't burning fossil fuels. And the Earth is supposed to be warming. We are coming out of a major ice age. The Earth warms, the polar ice caps melt, the oceans rise. Then you get You slowly, with the oceans getting colder, you slowly enter into another major ice age. Our planet goes like this: super hot, super cold, super hot, super cold over millions of years. We're in an interglacial period. The Earth is warming. We're going to continue to see heat records broken as we move forward through the decades. But when you see global heat records broken, people think it's like 10, 20 degrees hotter than normal. Our globe is like 0.1 Fahrenheit degree above normal. It happens very, very slowly. Over the last 200 years, we've seen the temperature increase by like 1.5 degrees over 200 years. So we're still gonna see periods where we have major. I mean, this is major. This is almost our entire country. And if you push this back to December, the East is even colder. You're gonna see periods where we're just well below average. I mean, like I've said, we're seeing major increases in snowfall in the Alps, the Pyrenees, and over in Japan, up in the northern hemisphere, coastal Japan. So, as much as people think it's just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter and less snow, it's just not true. We're going to see major cool downs. We're going to see probably more snow as we get more of that water up into the atmosphere with a little bit more of heat from the global temperature rising. Very slow. We're not shattering heat temperatures around the globe. We're slightly above average, as we're supposed to be. We're still going to see massive cool downs, though. Massive cool down and below average temperatures like this in these seasons. So nothing, if some people just think, the only reason I say this, guys, is I was getting frustrated. The only reason I say this is I was getting frustrated going into this winter because there was like so much on TikTok and so much on the internet about people saying like they were talking about this stratospheric warming event that was happening in Canada and how we were just not going to have a winter because the global temperature was so hot this year. And it just sounded so ridiculous to me. It sounded so ridiculous. You can't take the global temperature rising by 0.1 or 0.2 degrees and say our winter's over. That's like the silliest thing I've ever seen. You know what I mean? That's like saying we have a little bit more evaporations. Our oceans are going to disappear next year. It's just a little silly. Will we have hotter summers? Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to. I mean, not every summer is going to be hotter. Next summer might be cooler than it was last year. It's going to go up and down. Our climate's going to do weird things. I'd rather have the snow than ice any day of the week. Agreed. Cobb County is so strict when it comes to weather. Cobb County where? Are you talking about in Georgia? Any more snow in Tennessee? I think Tennessee will get a little bit more snow this year. Yes. Yeah, Cobb County, Georgia. That's what I'm thinking. You're incredibly wrong on a lot of this. Awesome, Doc. I'm glad you're in my stream though. Thank you for helping my algorithm. You're allowed to insult me as much as you want, as long as it's helping my algorithm. I don't know if you've hidden my chats or something like that. Pam, there's 1,000 people in here. I'm not hitting your chats. I'm one person talking to 1,000 people. If I'm not responding to you, it's not because I don't like you or I don't like the questions you're asking. It's just because I literally can't respond to everyone. It's like impossible. And it sucks and I hate that feeling, but it's just how it is. Julie and Nora, I appreciate you guys. Hey, Pam. I saw Pam right away. Since you know a lot about weather, why aren't you a meteorologist? I went to school for meteorology for 3 years at Florida State. Meteorology's been my passion since I was a little kid. I had some things happen in my personal life, and I moved down to Orlando, and I didn't finish my degree, which was which was frustrating for me for a long time. I ended up getting into music. I got a sound engineering and music production degree out in LA. I toured. I did a bunch of stuff, but I never stopped learning about meteorology. I mean, I listen to college lectures every day to and from work. It's been my passion my whole life. I would like to go back and finish my degree since I got so close. But the thing is, it's a lot of money and time, and I have 2 full-time jobs right now, and my second child's about to be born. So it comes down to, and meteorology, there's not really anywhere that's easy to get into that really offers an online degree. So although I only need about another year of education to finish my meteorology degree, it would be very, very complicated with how busy my life is. I also never wanted to be I never wanted to be on the news. I never wanted to be, my dream was to fly into hurricanes with like, the hurricane hunters. Like I never wanted to be on the weather or news meteorologist. I have a passion for weather and I love doing this as a hobby. Meteorologists are also extremely underpaid. And I don't know if you guys know, there's been like 1,000 meteorologists laid off all over the country in the past few months. It's actually been really terrible. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for anyone saying gifts. Pam, thank you. Pam. Pam, you're awesome. Congratulations on a new baby coming soon. Brenna, thank you. Yep. A couple months here. April. It's very, very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. Baby girl. Will it be safe taking a 2-wheel drive vehicle from West Tennessee to Virginia Beach? So we're talking the 23rd. to Virginia, West Tennessee to Virginia Beach. Yeah. I don't think you'll have issues. I mean, there's workers all out on the roads making sure all those roads are salted up and good to go now. I can't guarantee you, Julie, but I don't think you'd have an issue. There's going to be plenty of cars out there with two-wheel drives. There already are on the roads. My dream is wanting to be a meteorologist. Is out the why is it out the window, Eddie? Okay, let's get back. We're getting really close to seeing what our latest GFS is. We're at about 200 hours, so we're gonna see what our latest. You know, I don't love looking at the future radar past 150 hours, but I do want to see. Sometimes if we get consensus at around 200 hours, you can start to kind of, you know, I don't want to say take it seriously, but that's a signal. That's a signal when you start getting consensus. So. And that's the reason I didn't go into meteorology. Yeah, Gianna. A lot of people don't know what's going on in the meteorology verse right now. Meteorologists are overworked, underpaid, and they're getting fired all over the country right now. There's literally been over 1,000 in like the past month. There's like an epidemic of meteorologist firings going on. It's really crazy. You can look it up. There's news stories about it. My brother is studying meteorology in Mississippi State. I still think it's awesome. That's awesome. I saw someone the other day who's a meteorologist I really respect, and he was talking about it, and he said, it's a scary industry to be in right now. You really have to offer something unique because they're laying off a lot of meteorologists because they're like, okay, you're saying the same old thing. We'll just place some AI in there. You have to offer a unique take, and that's something I work on every day. I love climatology, so I love looking at model. I look at a lot of models and future radars for you guys. Sometimes you'll see me dig deeper into ENSO cycles and our oscillations and our teleconnections. I look at a lot of just simple radar maps with you guys because it's just, I can explain what's going on around it. But I like climatology. I like looking at weather from a more macro standpoint, zooming out on the globe, what's happening in our poles, what's happening with our troughing and ridging, what's happening with our Madden-Julian oscillation, our MJO, what's happening with, there's a lot of things to look at. I love meteorology from a macro level, and that's what I want to be doing is understanding. I think that the closer we get to understanding farther out and being able to project farther out, that's going to be a significant change moving into the future with meteorology. It's not being able to just see a few days out, but see much farther out, and that's going to happen when we start understanding climatology a little bit better on a global scale. Especially like stuff like the MJO, which is really confusing to a lot of meteorologists right now. The MJO, the Madden-Julian oscillation, is a pocket of a big pocket of low pressure moisture that kind of circles the globe in 8 phases, and it's a seasonal thing, so it passes through each season. It can enhance rainfall, it can dry out regions more than expected. It's a really weird phenomenon that I think when we start to understand, we'll really start to be able to, our outlooks will really become much more sharp. And talking about a model like the CFS that can see out a month, 10 years from now, we may actually be having somewhat reliable data a month out if we can really understand bigger features like the MJO and how our teleconnections work. Anyways, we're gonna stop getting into all that stuff. Here's our we're about to see what our latest GFS thinks. We're literally 20 hours out. Okay, here we go. Look what it's doing, guys. It's still putting snow in eastern Oklahoma and Arkansas. Again, take this with the largest grain of salt you can find in your house. This is 200 hours out. Only reason we're looking at this is because I want to see if the Euro tonight has any consensus on this. If it does, it's a signal, and we'll watch it moving forward. It's pretty cool, though. Pam, I appreciate that. My brother's plan right now is going to the Air Force and be a meteorologist. That's something I thought about, too. I thought that'd be cool. What is going on, Mezzo-Matt? Oh, you're over on YouTube. Look at that. Do you think the Southeast could get another windstorm? Anything's possible right now. Listen, I expect our weather in the South to again, mild out a little bit as we get into February. You can see our GFS wants to bring a bunch of thunderstorms into there. Winter weather-wise, again, I expect this to shift. Kind of like what the Climate Prediction Center thinks up here. Talking about windstorms in the South, I mean, if you're talking about a ratio, I can't predict that. If you're talking about windstorms from a thunderstorm, Thunderstorms always bring along wind with them. And actual, I honestly, there's no major wind event, just significant wind event in the near future in the southeast. I'm done with the cold in Michigan. You got a little bit longer. They're being replaced by National Weather Channel feeds. I know. Matt, we were talking about how great it is to be a meteorologist right now and how much job security they have. I know of Max Velocity. I've watched plenty. I subscribe to him on YouTube. I like him. I like Max. I like the way he breaks things down. Yeah. Did you know that the weather app in iPhone is actually a part of the Weather Channel? Is it? Well, maybe they should get someone on that. The weather app that said 3 hours before the storm passed over Jacksonville, they were going to get 6 inches. Especially when a severe weather event is happening or a winter weather storm is happening, there should be someone watching what the weather app is telling people for the cities that it's actually affecting. And anyone with the brain would have known that 6 inches call was just ridiculous. I felt bad. There were tons of people on TikTok who were like posting videos right before it. I saw it like midnight and 1 a.m. saying, we're about to get 5 inches. We're about to get 4 inches. We're about to get 6 inches in Jacksonville. And like they were getting their kids ready and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is depressing. You work with them? Or are you telling me to work with them? That'd be fun. Opinion on Ryan Hall, y'all? Not sure if you follow. Of course, yeah, everyone knows Ryan Hall, y'all. Gianna. I really like I like him. I have no problem with him. I think the way he curates his content is really good. And I've taken some I've taken some, obviously my content, I do it in my own way, but I definitely saw what he did quality-wise with this content, how he set stuff up, how he presented things, and I like the way it's kind of clean-cut and high quality. So I've kind of taken some tips from the way he set up stuff. More meteorologists were let go today, Connor. Jesus. Yeah, it's terrible. Meteorologists layoffs. Why is this in all caps? Oh my gosh. Yeah. About 100 meteorologists are losing their jobs. This is just a day ago. Wow. Yep. Jeez. Tonight is our last broadcast. Oh my God. It's happening all over the country right now, guys. You see why I like doing this as a hobby and I'm not working for a station? Tearful farewell. Hawaii, from Massachusetts to Hawaii, about another 50 layoffs. Okay, cool. Look at all over. This is great. This is just great. I don't know if
all right, I came prepared.
To family here.
Tremendous.
Rondrell.
Look at this guy. They just fired for no reason. Ugh. Jesus. All right, anyways, here's our latest GFS. We're loaded. Ready? Okay, there you go. It's... Here's the sector where it has its storm now, and I can already tell it's going to start to agree with the euro, and it's going to put it through here. Notice the shift. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. Here we go. Let's push this over. Let's move this here. Let's go into our last GFS, our 18Z. Where did we have the snow here? Again, we don't really believe models this far out future radar wise, but I'm talking about just as a trend if we have any sort of agreement. Okay, and then we have our 00Z here, and let me refresh this one more time. Notice the difference? See the snow farther to the south and east? See it farther to the north and west, guys? Exactly what we expected to happen. I think it's going to continue to shift to the north and west slightly as well. Kind of agreeing more with the euro here, as we saw back in our 12Z. See the euro, the way it handles it, like that, like how the GFS is adjusting to. No surprise, no surprise. Chat, we were right. So unfortunately, I think that trend north and west is gonna continue a little bit more. Although, hey, you're still looking at some hope in Oklahoma and Arkansas. This could be some good snow in St. Louis. And then I know some people were talking about Indiana, Illinois. We'll see. We'll see. Again, the Climate Prediction Center really likes snow through this region, and you're almost seeing why. You're already seeing the beginning of February. We have a signal. Now this is model consensus. A little bit of model consensus on the Euro and the GFS. We'll see, how the other models adjust, but a little model consensus now. Look at our Canadian. Our Canadian sees this too. This event happening farther out west. Something's going to happen out here through the Central Plains up towards the Midwest, it looks like, as we enter into late January, February. So something to watch exactly where this snow is going to fall and stuff. Way too far out, not in forecasting range, but this is kind of developing how I thought it would. So I'm sorry. Part of me was hoping that would stick down to the southeast. Still could. Still time, but why does the Charlotte area have such bad luck? I know. Listen, it snowed like 4 times in 2021 when I was there. It was awesome. Brad Panovich better not go anywhere. I love Brad Panovich in Charlotte. Yeah, he's a great meteorologist. Keep it away from me. Ooh. Yeah, Matt, I forgot. That's going to be an interesting look for you. We're going to have to watch how this develops. Matt, you know what's going to happen, Matt? You know what's going to happen? This is going to shift 100, 200 miles to the northwest. And you know what that means, Matt. Here we go. Here we go again. Carly, Confused, Nathan, Shop, Brittany, Pam, Carrie. Thank you, guys. Absolutely not. Guys, if you don't follow Mesomatt, show him some love. MESOMATT. He's one of my buds. He does this full time. He knows this stuff. And especially he loves his tornadoes, especially severe weather, especially come spring severe weather tornado season. That's going to be your guy right there all day, all night when we have these severe outbreaks. I swear, Connor. Yeah. Mesomatt. Yeah. He's on TikTok. He's on YouTube and all that stuff too. All the platforms. Carrie, I appreciate you. Will DC get snow? DC will probably. I think DC will maybe get a little bit more snow this winter. We have a bunch of the latest GFS. You can see all these clippers still moving through to end January off. This is still an interesting look out here. I mean, the GFS still likes. I mean, it's ice now. It's pretty much all ice down here in rain, but it still likes this thing to move towards the Mid-Atlantic. I think it's going to skirt more up here like the Euro, but we're watching this. We just had an EF4 at Elkhorn a while back. Nebraska. Yeah, Mezzo. Pam's been here. Pam's a day oneer. She lives around Omaha. Yep. We want Pam to see a blizzard. My Ohio Valley and Dixie Alley peeps start preparing for spring severe weather season. He's not lying, guys. He is not lying. Yeah, we want to get a blizzard to Pam. This is a great setup for you, Pam, in February. Please don't disappoint. Weather gods, please don't disappoint. I think this is as good a setup for you, Pam, for a big snow in February as it was for the potential for southern snow in January. I think our jet stream wants to go whoop right through here for a little bit in February. Blizzard. Miami getting snow? Yali, if you're still in here, what do you think? She's going to say, Miami already has snow. I do not want ice. Yeah, ice is the worst. Ice is bad ice. Guys, I want to go and do a sub-only chat. I want to hop on TikTok and do a sub-only chat for like 20 minutes. Everyone who's been in here, thank you guys for the follows, subs, gifts. Thank you for just being in here, engaging. Again, if you don't know who I am, I post weather updates, weather videos every single day. I live stream every single night, unless it's like my birthday or I'm out of town or traveling for work. But it's most of the month. I'm usually here every single night around 9 o'clock. And on the weekend, sometimes I do, I try to do sometimes Saturday, Sunday, like 12 or 1 o'clock streams as well during the day. Double streams. But yeah, you guys have been awesome. The channel growth has been crazy. I really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate all you. And I'm glad that a lot of you liked the mullet because I was nervous. So thanks. Never had a mullet in my life. We'll see if I keep it. It's probably going to be hard to maintain. I'm going to go and do a sub-only chat on TikTok. I appreciate you guys. I'll be back on here tomorrow. I'm going to be posting more updates tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll see. February is going to be a pattern change. And with that is going to come some interesting winter weather to track. This has been anything but a normal winter so far. And I kind of expect that to continue. So, we'll see. But I appreciate you guys. And I'm going to get off of TikTok and YouTube here in about 5 minutes. I'll be back on TikTok in a sub-only chat. You can join it. If you're not a sub, you can still see it. It's just I like to do a sub-only chat. It's a little bit chiller, and I can talk to my subs. So I appreciate you guys. See you.